In sports?
Oh gosh. Okay. So there are 10 NBA players that have tested positive for COVID ID. Not all their names are released. I mean, just like in any company, especially a company that can release public information, such as like a law firm or even, a television company, but a sports team, they have very strict HIPAA laws. And we always sign that stuff, of course, when we get tested or go to our doctors, etc. So the team cannot release the player's name. No one can release the player's name, doctors, another teammate, except for the player. So the players that have released their own names, and sometimes it's broken, through back channels, maybe a trainer tips off a writer, and then the player can confirm it or deny it or not say anything. Okay. So the first player that tested positive, and he was sick, we're talking 100-degree fever, on his back, horrible heavy cough, and these are the fittest athletes in the world, basketball players. This was Rudy Gobert, the center for the Utah Jazz, big, tall, 7-foot center. So he was on his butt. He missed a game. Test him for strep, nothing. Test him for flu. I don't know which one came first, because they wouldn't travel you if you had flu or strep as well. He traveled. He was in Oklahoma. They were from a road game to a road game. So then they were worried about his well-being, and they sent him to the hospital, and they did the COVID test, and he came back positive. And then they had to immediately release that. Like, we have a player that's positive, process of elimination, which player's not with the team on the court, Rudy Gobert. It was very easy to find that out. And he was already listed as out for that game with the flu. So that is how his name kind of came out immediately. You had to alert authorities. They were in a public hotel. He had been on the team bus. He flew in an airplane. They had to alert the players and their medical staff. So it was a really quick snowball effect. And they canceled that game. And the Oklahoma City Thunder canceled that game because that game was under their jurisdiction in their own arena. And then once the Oklahoma State Health Department got word of this, they immediately quarantined the Utah Jazz, anyone that had come into contact with Rudy Gobert, and they demanded that everyone there get tested. And they had to kind of write down where they were, and they started quarantining and cleaning out the hotel where they were. The hotel had to send out releases. It was this really big, fast domino effect. So that's how all of those players got tested immediately, because I know there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of politicians and just people stopping me on the streets have yelled at me why those players were tested so fast. And here in New York, there's a shortage of tests. First of all, that was last week. That was March 10th. Secondly, that was Oklahoma, a very different state than us, a very different population. And it came straight from the State Department, because these players were touching and around everything. They were in restaurants the night before. So what if 20 players, they tested 58 people? What if 50 people out of 58 tested positive? They clearly had a bigger situation there. 2 players tested positive, Rudy initially, and then Donovan Mitchell, his teammate, who has a locker right next to him. Ooh. They had a lot of contact. So it made a little bit of sense. So it showed that it is a lot of information came out of this one team. Shows it is very contagious, but it also didn't spread that quickly in a locker room, because, there is spit and sweat all over. Just to be blunt, there's all kinds of stuff all over those locker. I have done interviews where I have to step into a towel to get to the guy, and I could feel the wetness on my leg, like around my heels. And it's gross, but that's what these atmospheres are like. You need a soundbite after a game. Right. So it snowballed from there. And 4 players from the Brooklyn Nets have tested positive. Only Kevin Durant has come forward, which is the star player, but he's not even playing. So he clearly didn't get it on the court. Did he get it going out to eat, pass it to his teammates? Did he get it fist bumping, hugging, congratulating his teammates after coming off the court in a timeout? So we don't know what other players have it, if they had all been together out to dinner, if it was from them sitting at the bench together. So we don't know how it was spread within that team, or where Kevin Durant or one of these other players got it. So they did play the Los Angeles Lakers during kind of this whole period. They played the Lakers the night that the team eventually suspended all those games from there on. Okay. So then the Lakers got word. They tested their players. 2 players have come out. Now, I think I would have gotten an alert by now, but as of right now, no names have come out about the Los Angeles Lakers, which player. So we don't know if it's LeBron James. We don't know if it's Antonio Davis. We don't know if it's, so I'm just looking now, on my Twitter and things. We don't know who from there. The Boston Celtics had played the Utah Jazz. Oh, I skipped a player. So the Detroit Pistons played the Jazz. They tested they only tested guys with symptoms. Player had a high fever, 99 degrees, they test like 3 or 4 people, I think. Okay. One player came back positive. He came forward, Christian Wood. And he's a center. So he went right up against Rudy Gobert right before Gobert started feeling sick, like 7 days prior to the testing. So it shows this whole incubation period. So I feel like sports has been able to connect to a certain demographic of people, creating this awareness that young people can get it. These are the symptoms. You can also be asymptomatic. So 2 players are asymptomatic. Kevin Durant says he feels fine. He tested positive. We don't know. Maybe he's getting symptoms now. We don't know. Donovan Mitchell he said he feels a little dehydrated and dry. He says, but that, and that plays kind of with the dry cough. He goes, but I don't feel sick. And there's a couple guys. And then 3 players on the Boston Celtics tested positive. 1 player came forward, Marcus Smart. He says he feels good. So that's what's going on in the NBA. As far as other players, 1 player from the Ottawa Senators tested positive, a coach from New York City FC, the soccer team that plays at Yankee Stadium, a coach there tested positive, head coach of the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton, tested positive. And I mean, guys could be coming back, stuff could be right now, positive tests. So it puts a public face and also sort of strong gives different faces to this coronavirus. We see the elderly passing away. We see some people like Idris Elba, who does have a cough, or, he's quarantined with his wife, the actor. So we're seeing a mix of this whole thing, which is really interesting. And I think sports has really contributed to the awareness of the contagion of this virus, who gets it, who has symptoms, who doesn't. I feel like there's a lot of information that's being created out of sports being hit by this. And that was a long answer.
So, well, I mean, it's affecting a lot of people. Now, I know the NBA canceled indefinitely. Is that sports all around?
Sports all around, or until further notice. Some sports are being, just trying to have a positive outlook. So they keep kind of moving dates. So the NBA will reevaluate April 15th. Baseball had initially suspended opening day 2 weeks. Now they're saying indefinitely, we will reevaluate in May. And they're not even giving a date there, because players are saying, well, if you push it back another 2 weeks, say to May 1st, we got to get back into training. And we need like 2 to 4 weeks, because there's a progression specifically with hitting and with throwing the pitchers. I mean, maybe not out in the field, but with hitting and pitching, there's a progression that you need so that these guys don't get out and get injured.
Well, so that was going to be my next question. If they're not, are they not practicing? Because
So here's so initially NBA players were allowed to, there's a little one. Hi there.
Hi.
Tina.
Hi. This is Dante.
Hi, Dante.
He's my oldest.
Oh my goodness. How's the homeschool going?
I'm a teacher now.
Mommy's not a teacher.
But she's a substitute teacher.
Those are the best. Well, depending on who the substitute teacher was.
So initially, MLB continued holding spring training practices. They stopped their games because they didn't want people gathering in their ballparks, and their small ballparks. Also, what's interesting about spring training, which I feel like didn't get a lot of, I've talked about this on radio, but I feel like it didn't get a lot of attention. A lot of senior citizens retire to Florida and Arizona. I feel like the East Coasters go to Florida, the West Coasters go to the desert, and they continue working at these ballparks. They're such lovely people. These are retirees that take your tickets, or they do security for the media. They check my bag. We get to meet them. They're so nice. They're fans of the team. They usually
my grandmother did. My dad's mom. She did for the Phillies.
Yeah, exactly. Clearwater. Yeah, so they work at these stadiums during spring training. They love it, and they have a job. It's great. And so that's a big reason too why they shut down those games, because they did not want to expose any senior citizens, anyone over 60 or for that matter, to anyone who could have been contagious or had the virus. So that was a quick shutdown the games, but they're like, okay, players can continue spring training. And you could choose to stay or go. Like nobody's going to be penalized if they choose to go home. So all the Yankee players voted, and all the Yankees said, oh, we're going to stay. We're going to stay. We're going to keep hitting. We're going to do workouts. We're going to, we'll be careful. We're washing our hands, antibacterial, spreading out a little bit more. We're not going to hang on each other. But after a couple of days, when a Yankees minor league player, now, but he wasn't playing, he wasn't hanging out with the major league guys. And this is only one player out of all of baseball that has tested positive. It eventually became 2 Yankees minor league players. But once that started showing up, Major League Baseball said spring training practices are done. And we want you to shut down the practices. So some stadiums, or they're really training facilities, complexes, developments, such as the Mets. So Port St. Lucie, they shut down Clover Park. It is done. Everybody's out. In the Yankees, George Steinbrenner Field is still open, but of like 53 players that are, trying to make the 26 major league roster, there's about 10 guys left, and they're staggering their workouts. They're on an email text chain rather. And okay, I'm going to work out at 3, you work out at 6, this, I'm going in the morning, I'm going to hit. So you be in this, and they've got guys there that are wiping things down and trying to keep it all sanitized. So that's what I know the Yankees are doing. I don't know much about the other Major League Baseball teams, but I know that's going on with the Nationals. So, everything shut down. NBA players were allowed to practice initially, and now the league has said, shut it down. You're allowed to go home to where you're from. So if you play for the Brooklyn Nets, but have a house, you live in New Orleans, you can go to New Orleans now. It's allowed. Nobody's penalized. And they're telling players to do the Nets are quarantined. So they're actually not leaving Brooklyn or New York City. They're quarantined right now because of those 4 players. So the whole team and anybody from the traveling party that was in Los Angeles or traveled with them on the plane to San Francisco or came home, including some people that I know very well and my husband knows well, they're quarantined in their houses. But other teams are allowed to, go to wherever they live if they so choose to. So, and it goes like this for all sports, for NHL, for, tennis, people travel, PGA canceled the Masters and major events right now. Some are postponed, some are flat out canceled.
So what is this going to do to their bodies? Are they virtually working out? Are they getting trained virtual? I mean, can you?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. They're working. They're sending video back to their coaches so the coaches can analyze, say, their swing, their pitch, whatever they're working on. A lot of players are just trying to keep in shape as best they can. Now, let's be honest. This is like above the 1% of America. They make a lot of money. So a lot of these guys have gyms in their own house, or if they can't go home, they can go to, you know what I mean? As long as they're keeping it clean. I mean, some of these players have full basketball courts or a full pitching station. They could throw, it's a batting cage, a full gym, or they're going outside and running. I mean, that's what's kind of good. At least you can go to a park and run and do their setting. I've seen guys put up videos, a lot of football players, because football so far is all on schedule. It doesn't start camps don't start till the end of July. They might cancel some of their early camps, like in May, obviously in June, but right now camps are set for July. And a lot of these players, they're running through the tires. Maybe they're working out with one trainer, but it's 2 people. Right. And they're just working out the best they can without being in their facility. It is hard. And teams are concerned, Clelia, like you said, that what happens if they get injured. Now they can't go run into the training room because they're not at their facility. Like a guy gets hurt, pulls a pec, doing his, bench press. He gets treatment professionally within a second. They can't do that now. So that's the biggest concern with coaches, trainers, and these players. And I think what we might see, unfortunately, but it's such a lesser value compared to this virus, is guys getting hurt a lot this year, no matter the sport, because it's such a staggered way to start training again and come back and play. Or we might see some injured players that were injured and weren't playing. They might be able to come back and participate in their season. So it works in their benefit. Silver lining.
Right. Always the silver lining.
Yeah.
What about the with okay, bye. So what about as an organization, as a business, right? It's a business. Yeah. So number one is, my husband's like a massive Jets fan. So he was telling me about the draft. They were drafting people, and he's telling me the amount of money they're getting. And I have to be honest, I'm almost disgusted because there's so many people that are suffering out there. And then you see the amount of money that these people are getting, and you're just can it freeze for the moment?
Yeah, so the reason why they kept it going, so it's the free agency period that we're in right now. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Tom Brady signed, a deal $30 million a year. And we've got people, in service industries, salons, restaurants. I have friends that own restaurants shutting down. I mean, they're and then they're going to lose so much money in this period. They're not going to make money, and then they're losing money on that. So, and then you hear Tom Brady making $30 million. The reason why the NFL kept that going is if we can keep our businesses going, we keep them going. So I still work in television news and I cover sports. We have to keep informing the public. If we're able to keep it going by me being home, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep creating television. Same thing with takeout. Some places that were always takeout are able to continue their businesses. Some people can work from home and write contracts or do, accountants. I've been talking to my accountant. They're all home, but they're still almost doing, it's a little harder, takes a little longer communication. But what the NFL did as a company, as a business, they continue this operation of free agency because you really just need phone calls. There's been a lot of conferencing where they used to maybe have interviews. You would go into the city, check out the facility, go on an interview. They've been doing the conference calls, and that is how they've been signing these free agents and offering them contracts based on their career, based on their body of work. So you can offer Tom Brady's the best example. Contract 2 years, $30 million a year. That's not the exact contract. He just signed it. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's around there. But here's the problem. You could take the chance and sign that player on the line. Okay. Then whatever parameters in that contract, you're an attorney, you work in a law firm, you know how those contracts work, whatever's in that, whatever those terms are, or they can't sign because they haven't had a physical. So so they're not even fully they are not
enforceable
in a full free agent period, because some of these players might not get signed because they can't take these physicals. Because you could fail a physical. You might have a torn ligament that you didn't tell anybody about, or you have something wrong with your heart, or they could find things, or something's up with your blood or whatever. They can't take these physicals right now, so that they have come into a roadblock. So they're almost not even fully operational. But as far as the draft that's coming up April 21st, well, it's a 4-day period, but they're still going to have it. They're still going to draft players. But again, they can't sign these contracts until these players are clear to take these physicals. Right. So while they're not going to have a big brouhaha with all these people and a guy walking up on stage and putting his jersey on and his hat on, they still can draft the players and get them on their teams, but there's going to be a delay in all of this. And I understand, like, it is so unnerving seeing those contracts and people are losing their jobs, but this business, the NFL, is just trying to stay afloat, and the media's out there trying to do their jobs, and they get paid.
No, it makes sense. It's good, and I think that's the most important is you are giving information, and people are not seeing it from that perspective, and they have those questions. So I think that people will then have more respect. Like, I have more respect for it now that I understand it from the point of view that you just said. Right. So that's so interesting. So, and since I have you on the phone, I have to ask you, why isn't Tom Brady retiring?
Isn't it amazing? He's going to be 43 when the season starts.
Wait, now, who was the oldest? Was it the Cheeseheads, the quarterback?
Brett Favre played till he was 41, I think, but then he retired. He did play into 40.
Was he the oldest?
40. There's been older quarterbacks, but not a starting quarterback making $30 million. I think at 43, he may be the oldest quarterback when the season starts. I think guys have made it to 42. No, George Blanda played until he was 48, but he wasn't making $30 million a year. I can guarantee that. I knew there was somebody like way back in the 70s. He retired in 1976. He was 48. But he was kicking a little more then. So he was technically a quarterback, and he could go out and throw a pass. So technically he was playing as a quarterback.
Why did he leave the Patriots though?
Okay, so he left the Patriots, piecing everything together. He wanted a big contract. And last year, and he had, over the last 5-6 years, he had taken pay cuts, Brady would reorganize his contract in order to free up more money under the salary cap to sign other players, to sign other talented higher end players, so that he would have the right weapons to throw touchdown passes to, that he would have the right protection on the offensive line, so that the defense would make sure the other team doesn't score. So they would sign great interior linemen for these high prices. Wow. Brady did that throughout the years. Now he's like, look, I got you these all of these Super Bowls. My contract's up. You guys owe me some money. And he wanted a certain contract, and he made $23 million last year for the Patriots. You know, he was looking for this $30 million deal, whether it was 1 year, 2 years, who knows if there's incentives. And the Patriots weren't even looking to give him $23 million. So really? He is 43. So that's just what they were ready to, they sort of were ready. They would have kept him if he would have signed for that price, they would have taken him. But whatever price they were looking at, Brady wanted more, and he found a team to give him that money.
Wow, good for, I mean, I am not a fan of him, but good for him. Good.
Right, from a business standpoint. Right. Yep. Yeah,
absolutely. Exactly. He did what was right for the company, and then they don't repay him especially after all he's produced. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what about for moms like me that had, 1,000 sports to go to, and now I have nothing.
Nothing. So I'm actually going to do a story for Fox 5. It's, and I'm going to tip you guys off so you can go to it. It'll air Monday, Tuesday, not sure, Wednesday, because everything's changing constantly. I might have to do it from home, and then they'll edit it there. I have no idea. But I'm going to do a story on an app that's been out, but now people are taking advantage of it in a different way. It's famer.com, no, famer.us. And it's a coaching app. And what it does is whatever sport you play, basketball, baseball, if you're, in Little League, tennis, there's all the sports there. What it does, it provides coaching, whether live virtually. It's got this amazing technology, I think was created in Israel. And you can both watch the coach. It depends. So of course I think there's free parts of it, and then you of course pay to upgrade. So if you want like live coaching, there is a price, but it's access. It's kind of the best way to describe it. It's like Peloton for sports kids. So everybody's, working out, and now Peloton's got 90 days free so if you don't have a Peloton bike or treadmill, or if you have a regular treadmill or a different bike, you could still utilize it. And I might upload it just for the heck of it. I don't know. I wish I can get a Peloton bike, and I would, but I don't have the room. I'm in a tiny townhouse. Everything's narrow, and we've got a lot of furniture. As you can tell, Italians loading furniture.
I think because I got it and then I sold it.
So I wish, because, and then a lot of times where I was in blizzards and couldn't go out to the gym or go running, I have a gym in my common townhouse. So we have a beautiful little gym. It's like a nice hotel gym. And then I would go to the treadmill there and lift weights there. And I have some stuff at home, but like, I have to exercise today. So I might, and you could do the workouts. So it's just like that for kids. You could do these workouts or these drills, backyards. They tell you how to set up cones, or like stuff from your house, like household items, like buckets you use to clean the floor. You could set them up and use them for drills. Are you trying to help your kids? And it's all age-based too. All right, they're 8 to 12. They're 15 to 17 playing varsity basketball or soccer. And you could set up these drills in your backyard, a small backyard, or go to a big field. I mean, there's even stuff, big field, batting cages, it's all there. And there's all these coaches, and it's gone as far as you could take a video of your kid, say in the batting cage, throwing from the mound, shooting hoops, playing soccer, ball work, footwork, whatever it is your kid's doing, and you could send it to them and they can evaluate it. So it keeps your kid up to date, sort of up to what they're doing, because they're missing out on practicing games right now. And it's a great activity.
Yeah. When you're young, like, it's consistency, and it's just, it's constantly like building on what you learned prior. Otherwise they forget. Like, even through the homeschool, like I do 9 to 10 o'clock and 4 to 5, like phys ed, and he'll go outside, and he loves soccer. So he mostly does soccer. He does a little bit of baseball, but it's been raining lately. or it's been foggy and it's wet. So I'm like, I don't want you going outside. So I'm like, go downstairs. This is my alternative. Go downstairs and play FIFA. And my husband will play. And my husband will play. I said, you can only go if daddy goes with you, because then I want him to explain to you what's going on. So at least, because he's a visual learner. So as long as he sees what's going on and he sees how everybody's spread out and, they're like they're taking care of their zone, whatever the
strategy and plays. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, you have to keep going.
And you don't want them out sick and then their immune system shot. Then even if they just get a little cold, then it's an immunity problem. Yeah.
So how do you, I mean, when you're reporting on these things, you're not reporting with them anymore.
Nope. That stopped Sunday. Yeah. The last time I did a live interview was Sunday. I had two reporters, a writer, and then we were an analyst in basketball because we were supposed to have Selection Sunday last Sunday. So we did sort of our own little selections. Okay, hold on. We got a news alert. Okay, Governor Murphy's going to speak soon in New Jersey.
Oh.
So
hopefully a lockdown.
Then I can't go out. I'm trying to think, do I need anything? I could use some more eggs, but we'll see.
What, you don't need toilet paper?
We were good. It's only my husband and I, so we're rationing a little bit. And I was at work. You know what, too, though? I've been at work the last 5 days. So all day I use their toilet paper. And then he was so funny. And I'll say, he's like, take a roll home if you go back in for a day.
So when this all happened, I said to my husband, I was like, go to Costco and get toilet paper. And he's like, they didn't have it. He went somewhere else. They had it. He goes, I got 16 rolls. I go, that's not enough. He's like, Chloe, you got to leave some for other people. I'm like, they didn't think about it.
It's hard. It could, if God forbid it got to paper towels, because now we're wiping everything down with the wipes. So I'm almost not using paper towels as much. And then, so we're not using paper towels to clean. We're doing the rags and then we're throwing the rags in the bleach. So we're keeping stuff clean. You know what I mean? So we're just kind of alternating things. And then, so went to a store, they were out. I was like, oh, let me just get, even if it was a roll of 6 or whatever, I forget where I was. And, it was Dwayne Reed by work. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh. And I went to the baby aisle and I got baby wipes. So my husband's like, don't flush them in the toilet. I'm like, no, duh. I'm not going to flush them in the toilet. We'll throw them out. But still, it's.
Wait, do you have septic?
We don't. Oh yeah, it said not to throw them in the toilet, but that's all right. We'll just throw them in plastic bags. We'll just tie them up and throw them in. These are bad times.
I can't.
There were baby wipes. There weren't a lot of baby wipes, but I got the no-name brand. It wasn't the fancy brand. But
I have a lot of the fancy brands still.
Fancy brands.
Thank God I see.
Yeah, you have leftovers.
So if you need any, you could just call me. And I cleared out the store, so I have extra.
Oh my gosh.
I got enough paper towels. I got 3 carton of eggs. I'm like, boys are ridiculous. They're garbage disposals.
Yeah, that's why I'm lucky. It's just my husband and I. And I'm a snacker. I haven't done I did a meal the other night. I've just been snacking. Tuna. We're just. And today I was going through the freezer. Shrimp and we have good stuff. I'll cook tonight. We've been rationing. And I've been at work, so I've been, and I want to support. So many restaurants, of course, have just totally closed around our work area, and there's a couple takeouts. So, I've been going there. It's probably money I shouldn't be spending, but I feel bad for them.
Oh, you live in Clifton, right?
I live in Clifton. Yep. And then my station's on the Upper East Side.
Okay. Yeah. Some of my friends that they own restaurants, and it's, oh my gosh, Lindsay, that did our hair.
Yes. I saw.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I
saw the post. My regular salon closed. I was texting with my salon. The guys that do my hair, I was texting with them all today because I didn't have good hair day the last few days at work. And I'm like, and we tried to make a little bit light of it because I was like, I'm thinking of you guys. I was like, but when this is over, I need my hair team. We're going in. They're like, yes.
I was supposed to get a new color. I was blocked for the whole day. I was going to get a new color. I was so excited. And it was supposed to be today. And I saw her and she was flying back from Florida. And I was like, if anybody cancels, let me know. I can come in because everybody's frantic. So I'm like, I had so many gray hairs. It was literally like everyone's like, "Oh, you're so young." No, I have my mother's hair.
Me
I
too.
have a full line. So
Could be
she's
an
like,
Italian thing. I think it's an
"Yeah,
Italian thing. Yeah.
you're so stressed."
Yeah. And the stress is going to make more gray.
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, can you
Ah,
come in tomorrow at 10?" I'm like, "Yes." And then I walk in and I saw her. I'm like, "Thank you so much. You made me so happy."
I was lucky. I got my hair colored on last Friday, which is what, the 11th or the 12th. So it was like before it just started ramping up the end. That's when sports shut down.
What about your
And it
nails?
started ramping up, and we went in, and some hairstylists did have masks on. Some, but they were gloves anyway. All the color girls do gloves anyway. And then they're like, we're always washing your hair, and like it's maybe not antibacterial, but it's really, we have dry hands because of it, so it's got to be clean, and it's cleaning out oil and stuff. So they felt good about it, but they had to close down. So
What about your nails?
I don't know. So got my nails done the same day. So I'm good for 3 weeks. Maybe I could push it 4, but it was funny because I wanted a color.
I'm 2 weeks.
So I'm a week today. My biggest thing, Clelia, and we joke about, not joke, but like my hand, like someday I get a lot of blood coming into my knuckles from it being so dry, from antibacterial. And like I walk around the city, going to my car, and then I wipe down my car with my wipes, and the guys in my parking garage, they have wipes. They have gloves on. So then I re-wipe down the car, and then I do antibacterial. Then I drive home. Then I get home and I wash my hands again. It's like, and I'm putting cream.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, because you're out there,
Yeah, I'm washing and like antibacterial so much.
So
that's been around.
So I guess my one of the most important question is like they say like nurses and doctors are out there like on the front lines, let's say, but news anchors are too.
Yeah,
I mean, you're out there. I mean, you're not touching people that are contaminated as far as but you're engaging in it and you're reporting on it. So like, how do you?
Yeah, we're just taking the best precautions we can. Some of the things we've done is a lot of reporters, and this might happen to me next week, a lot of reporters don't even go into the building. So they'll go right to their point of where they're reporting from, whether it's in front of a hospital, or today my friend was not far from the Paramus, New Jersey, new drive-up testing station. So that's what they're doing, a lot of that. So they're not coming in the building, but you're still like going in a television truck to edit your piece. So you're with you're with your camera person, your guy, they're working satellites. Everybody's just wiping stuff down. We do have access to these great Clorox/alcohol/antibacterial wipes. They're like the super duper durable ones, whatever the industrial size. So we have access to that all over our buildings, because I've been in the building every day. So I have not been there's no games. I did go to games last week when St. John's played and their whole season got halted at halftime and the Big East tournament ended at halftime. I was in Madison Square Garden. There were 17,000 people there opening night. So I was out and about that night. So we have like the foam where, that you don't touch, the no touch, you walk by, you do it. We have that all over our building. I tend to walk around with my ready wipes, my antibacterial wipes. So I pull one out, and I usually have 2. I haven't done the glove thing because I feel like you're wasting the gloves. I don't want to waste them for maybe a hospital worker or somebody that really needs them. So I walk around with my wipes, and I'll touch the elevator with my wipe. Anything I do the elbow doorknob thing, but I've just been doing that the best I can, because we're in a building. Wipe down my desk. I've been putting a lot of stuff. This is so fun. I put my keyboard in my drawer because I just feel like stuff's out and about.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's airborne or what, you know what I mean? So I just kind of put a lot of stuff away, but I'm nervous if I don't go back to the building, I have stuff I need. So.
Well,
yeah. Whoever's in there might have to ship it or something.
Well, everything's on sale, so you can always.
That's true too. I know, but I need like silly stuff, like my IFB for my ear, like things like that. That if I work from home, I'll need. So we'll see what happens.
Well, maybe time to go in.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness.
This is crazy. It's crazy.
Thanks for doing this. Do you have any other sports questions? I mean, I'll keep you up to date. Let me see anything. Oh, here we go. But yeah, I mean, everything is just on call. It's on hold until further notice. What I thought was very interesting the other day the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who's been on top of this coronavirus since January because the NBA has very close business ties with China. They were strained earlier this year because of a particular general manager's tweet about Hong Kong. So they've had issues with the China relationship, but they still have executives. They have an NBA office that functions in, I think it's Shenzhen. Am I saying that right? I think it's there. But in any event, it's in China, or it could be in Beijing. And they have people, Americans that work for the NBA that were in those offices when the virus really started to have this outbreak. So they've been a little bit ahead of the curve, and that's why they shut down the league so quickly. Mm-hmm. But what they're thinking about is just some kind of release, some kind of escape. Maybe if they don't start up by June, they're thinking of having a charity basketball game where they would test players, keep them quarantined, only have players that are testing negative. They would work out a little bit and maybe do a televised charity game where everybody would have been tested and quarantined. I mean, it would be like a 3-week period to get this thing on television. But players say, come ready, come fit, we'll test you, we'll quarantine you, have this game. People could watch it on TV. It'd be a live game. So that's an option.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? We have to, the law firm has been talking about this, like, with the elder law section doing the estate planning documents, we have clients that are trying to get their powers of attorneys and their wills. So now we're trying to come up with ways. So now we're having people drive to our parking lot, sit in their car, we'll come outside with gloves and masks, and we'll witness, and the attorney will explain it to you, and then we'll send it to you in the mail. I mean,
yeah, that's what they're doing for a test. That's how people are getting food, curbside. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have to come up with creative ways. And I feel like it's like another 9/11. Like everybody's kind of banding together and worrying about the things that are important.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, how good we look. Because it's funny. I think that this is like a cleansing for us, because you see on Instagram, everybody, nobody's like posting like, oh, how like gorgeous they are, what party they're going to. It's them at home with their kids trying to figure out how to work, school.
Everyone's kind of showing how they slow down and what you could do. You don't need all this stimulation and all that. I think, but when it all comes back, I mean, think how crowded restaurants will be, and hugging and kissing friends and family when we see them in person. And we were thinking, like, another person said to me one day, a negative Nelly, these sports tickets are going to be so expensive. That hot dog's going to be $20. I'm like, and I'll buy the hot dog, because I will be so happy that I'm in that stadium and people are going to buy those tickets. So we'll have a different appreciation. Now, they can't keep it that high for that long, but I understand the makeup, process, but we can't, deal with gouging. But just in general, I think, when those restaurants come back, people will be out. It could be a really long process to get to that. But when we finally get back, maybe we'll all be a little more appreciative and loving and be in that moment where it's like, okay, we're out at a restaurant. This is so nice. Or when you see a friend on the street, or call people more. I mean, I love the FaceTiming and the phone calls instead of the texting. That I've been doing so much more. So we're doing the Zoom. I've got a FaceTime meeting with my girlfriends that were my best friends from Boston at 3:30. I have a 5:30 happy hour with my other sportscaster from Fox 5, since it's Friday, and we're off. It's our regular off day.
I like it.
Yeah, so we're doing happy hour. We don't know if we're doing Zoom or FaceTime or IG Live. We're going to do one of them. But yeah, so we have, sorry, my other phone call's at 4. So yeah,
oh my God, do IG Live, so then we can get on.
That's a good point. And then we can talk to other people. I have to tell Jennifer that. Yeah, I will. That's what we'll do.
Now and say,
that's wine. I mean, hey.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I said. I was like, I don't even drink, but I am drinking. I'm going to
enjoy. I have my Italian wines. And so my dry March went out the door, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone out the door that bad. My mom, the last time I was with my parents was it Friday? I think they came over last Friday, and that they were away. They were in Florida for a couple weeks. They were at their place in Palm Beach, West Palm. They came home. And then this was before it really got crazy. And my mom and I, we were starting to get a little stressed. And I was like, so happy to see them. I was like, oh, let's have champagne. So we had a rosé champagne. And so we broke that. I broke it then.
Champagne.
Yeah, because the Big East tournament was canceled. I was like, it's supposed to be the semifinals, and it could have been St. John's and Seton Hall tonight. So like, let's have champagne. So, or it was like a Prosecco. But my dad was like, I'm all right. So my mom and I polished the bottle off. And tonight I'm gonna do wine. So it's not that bad. Once a weekend, it's not bad.
Tell them I said hi. I love your parents. I'm still waiting to come over for dinner.
I know when this is cleared up, that's more dinner parties too. I feel like we need, like when all of this clears up, I want to do more dinner parties and have people over and all. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't, let's do it.
Yeah, just get people together.
Yeah,
that's what I try to do that, but I'm going to try to do it more. Like get like my different friends from different places, and then I just try to get them together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good idea. Well, I'm glad we did this. This was like a fun little hour.
Well, you still look beautiful. So
it's my iPhone light.
So mine too, and it's not working out very well. And light only does so much. Okay.
Yeah, I know. My hair's, but